Hello everyone, it's Lindsay, and today I'm bringing you a process video in my Bible using the Preaching to the Choir devotional kit from ByTheWell4God. I've been silently playing with this behind scenes. I had done an unboxing video, but I wanted to do a process video and kind of play around today. So I thought I'd turn on the camera and let you guys see. And I am working in day 3, which is talking about trust. We're focusing on Psalm 13:5, which says, "But I have trusted in your steadfast love. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation." So that's where I'm going to be journaling today. I pulled out some goodies that I know that I want to use from the kit. And today we're talking about trust, and not just easy trust, not just trust with a backup plan, which I am totally 100% guilty of. Yes, God, I'll trust you, but I have plan B just in case. And so we're kind of talking about that and just what it means to wholeheartedly, fully trust God like David did. And so we are gonna dive in and do a process. Be sure to check on over to my blog. I will have a blog post that corresponds with some more details about the devotional and products and things like that. So let's jump on in.
All right, so I love the watercolors that come with this kit. They are beautiful. They're Daniel Smith watercolors, very high quality. But these ones in this kit are very, very intense and very pigmented. And for this page, I wanted something a little more subtle, so I'm going to use something different. But those are included in the kit. So I'm just pulling out some of the things that I think I'm going to use from the kit, and I am just going to stick to a very simple color scheme of just the yellow, orange, and pinks. There are a lot of colors going on in this kit, and that's one way to not get overwhelmed is just pick, 2 or 3 colors and work with those. This kit's a little bit more difficult for me, not because it's not good, it's just colors I don't typically use. So it was a little bit of a challenge, but it was good. It was fun. So I'm going to create a background that resembles stained glass, and I've tried this a few different times and I've found some tips and tricks along the way. So I'm taking some washi tape. This is really thin washi tape, and I'm creating some designs in the background, some geometric designs. And you can see before I stick it down to the page, I'm actually rubbing that tape on the back of my hand first. That is very, very important. And it's also important to use a washi tape that isn't super sticky. So I had done this before with some Scotch brand washi tape, and it ruined my page. I think that it may have even been in a video. So don't use that. You want to use something that isn't super sticky, and you want to take even more stickiness off by rubbing it on the back of your hand. There is still enough sticky on this washi tape that it's able to stick to the page, but I want to be able to pull this back off. This is just masking out areas. Kind of think of where you see the black lines in the windows and things that are in this kit. That's where I'm putting these washi strips. So there's no rhyme or reason. I'm just sticking them down, creating random geometric shapes, and just tearing off different pieces of this tape. I am, kind of pressing it down into the page, but not too much, or I'm not going to be able to pull these off. So I'll go ahead and speed this up. And like I said, these are going to be our masks that kind of separate the shapes in the stained glass image in the background. So I'm going to keep adding these to the entire background. You can do them as big or as small, however you want to do it. I like the thinner tape just because then I get more color on the page than if I use bigger tape. So there is the final piece going in there. And now I can begin painting. And like I said, I'm going to go with the Illustrated Faith watercolors just because they are way more transparent and less pigmented than the Daniel Smith watercolors. And I'm not wanting to compete with this background. I want it just a very, very faint background to this page. So I'm going to be sticking with yellows, oranges, and pinks. And as I went along, I found that this went smoother if I added plain clear water to the area first and then drop color in there. So this first one, I'm just taking paint to the dry page, and it just doesn't blend quite as easily as this one will. So off camera, I keep sticking my brush over there. That is my cup of water. And so I just put some clear water in that shape. and then I can just pick up a very small amount of paint and drop it in there. Most of the time, watercolors dry back to a much lighter shade than when they are wet, so just keep that in mind. This will be lighter than what it looks like here. And really, I'm not adding very much water, and I'm not adding a whole lot of paint. I'm barely touching those paints and then adding that in there. You can see there how it moves and blends together. So, so pretty. If anything ends up with too much water, then I can just soak it up with my paper towel. I could have gone over this entire page with a wash of color, but I want each shape to look very different from the other ones, and that's what's going to give you just that element of making it look like the stained glass in the background. So I'll just continue. Here's where I can use the edge of my paper towel to just pick up any extra paint if it looks like it's getting too wet or too intense with the color. And I didn't have any problems with this bleeding underneath the tape because I'm not adding a whole lot of water, and I really pushed that tape into the page to make sure that there weren't any little gaps or ripples or anything in the tape. So I can keep going through, and I'm trying to kind of be conscious of, like, if the shape has a lot of pink on one side, then this shape I would put, a little more yellow up against the other one. So I don't have yellow against yellow or pink against pink, just to give it more definition between the different segments. You could do this with those Daniel Smith colors and have a very, very vibrant background, but I just didn't want to fuss because I knew that I was going to have a hard time getting my lettering and that kind of thing to stand out on a really dark background. And with this, I can still read all of the text, no problem. It's just a very faint background. And I had a video recently with the Illustrated Faith kit doing a geometric shape in watercolor, and I love how that came out. I'm really loving this technique. I had some problems in that last video, and I think I've figured them out along the way. So making sure that your page isn't too, or that your tape isn't too sticky before you stick it down. Using the right kind of washi tape is going to make a difference. Not using too much water. Especially over here in the binding, I'm trying to be very careful because I don't want that paint to drip and run down into the margin of my Bible. So I'm kind of adding the color to the left-hand side and then letting it run towards the center. That way I don't have too much water in the center there. And one of the most important things with this is going to be to let it air dry. It's so tempting to use a heat tool and dry this, but you can't. That's going to set that washi tape and it's not going to work. So I set this aside for about 30 minutes or so, went and grabbed my kids from school and let this air dry. You do not want to use a heat tool to dry this. So now that it's 100% dry, I can slowly, this is real time, I can slowly pull that tape back off of the page, and you can see I'm not having any problems with it pulling up the page or tearing anything like I was having in my other videos. So do not use heat when you dry this. It's so tempting, especially when I'm filming, because it's kind of hard to stop and start, and so I usually just dry things and get it over with, but this I needed to set aside and let it air dry. That also gives the colors more time to blend and move while it's drying, so you just get kind of a different effect. And you can see here as this is revealed, you just have this very faint background, and that's what I was looking for in those yellows and pinks and oranges. So now I can pull out some of the die cuts that are included in this kit, and that doily is included in the kit as well. And I'm just going to use a permanent adhesive runner to stick these down in the page. I love how colorful these are. It's a very, very intense color. They're very good quality die cuts, and it's super fun having these little mini doily pieces to use. If you have not seen this kit, definitely head on over to ByTheWell4God. I will have a link down below. She has some great devotional kits and other products for journaling over there as well, so go check it out. Here I'm taking one of the clear stickers from the kit, and I'm going to spell out the title, I Will Learn to Trust. Like I said, this day in the devotional is talking about trusting God. And originally I was going to put I Will Trust, and as I was kind of working with it, that didn't really fit in this corner, and really for me, I would like to say that I will trust, but I know for me, I need to learn to trust. It's going to take some work because that's just not my natural tendency. So I think that kind of fits a little better. So I pulled out some Tim Holtz label letters, or alpha tiles, whatever they're called. I really love these for creating my titles and adding words in there. They're super tiny, so you can spell out really big words and it'll fit in the margin. And now I'm taking the cardstock stickers from the kit. These have this really pretty, vibrant stained glass look to them. And you can see it's kind of hard to see on that doily. And so I will actually go back in and outline those using my Tombow pen just to add some definition so they'll stand out. You can see this kit has some really vibrant, bright colors. The Faber-Castell markers that go with this are super intense and super bright, and so it was kind of fun to do something different from what I normally do. So I've got that all down. I can add a tab at the top. The kit comes with several shapes that will work as tabs. So before I stick that tab up there, I'll add some washi tape down. This is from a much older Illustrated Faith kit. It's no longer available. I know it's kind of out of frame down there, but I'm just adding that to the bottom, and then I will add a little bit of that yellow tape over the top of this piece. You could either use this piece just as a die cut on the page or as a tab. And there's a couple shapes kind of like this and full circles, so you get quite a variety of shapes in the die cuts here. As you can see, I just tore that piece of tape. And again, trying to stick with those pinks and yellows and oranges. So off screen, I went ahead and wrote a prayer that goes in with the devotional. And on the back side, you can see I did have quite a bit of shadowing. I've never had that happen with Illustrated Faith paints before. I don't know if it's just because I let it sit for so long as it air dried. I don't know what happened, but it is what it is. So here is the finished page. Be sure to head on over to my blog. I'll have more information and more close-up photos and links to the products used. You can also check out the description box down below for links to all the products used. Be sure to leave any questions or comments down below, and I do answer those. Give this video a thumbs up if it was inspiring, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. And until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.